Hi guys, welcome to another video and welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to look at two new palettes that I got from Shroud Cosmetics. It's the Bean palette, the Hallo Bean, and the Moonfall palette. I know they're not new palettes, but I was just able to purchase them because I'm from Europe, so it's sometimes hard for me to buy these American brands, and these just got on Monolith, which is a shop that kind of resells these American brands. So if you're from Europe, I will link their site down below so that you can find this. And I think both of those are still available. Anyways, that's kind of it. Here you can see the swatches. Firstly, I swatched the Hallo Bean palette. It is such a beautiful palette. I absolutely love it, especially like the packaging and everything, and I love that this is magnetic so that I can always keep this even if the eyeshadows will turn like bad. It is such a great color story. I had so much fun using it, even though it's spring. I think I'm gonna use it all the time when it's gonna be autumn. They are so pretty. I love the shade Black Flame. It's such a beautiful multi-chrome. It goes from like brown to like really purple to green. It's such a great shade, and I love the shade Ghoulish. It has white base, but it has like green and yellow in it, so it's perfect. It's perfect highlighter. The mattes are amazing. They're so easy to work with. They're so nice and pigmented. The shimmers were really nice to use as well. So I'm so glad that I got to play with it. I actually created 7 looks using both of these palettes. So that is the Hallo Bean swatches, and for the Moonfall, I love the color story. It's such a nice like wintry color story. It has those really deep mattes with those really shiny jewel toned shimmers that are beautiful. They have the same layout, both of them, that you have 5 mattes and 4 shimmers. The only thing about the Moonfall, it doesn't have anything to use in your inner corner if you want to have some kind of highlight. But honestly, I'm not that mad at it. I can use other highlighters from other palettes, so that's not really a problem for me personally. I love that you can kind of find just quads in this palette that will look beautiful together, so no matter which like corner of the palette you will use, you will get beautiful color stories. The same goes for the Hallo Bean palette. I think this is really well made and a very nice color story. When it comes to the way they perform, I love the mattes because they're really easy to work with. They have enough pigment to give you exactly what is in the pan, but you can also blend it out really easily. So if you like to do more like smoky looks, you can definitely do it with these. They're so easy to use. They're very, very nice to touch. They're very like satiny. For the shimmers, I really like them. They're really easy to use. They're very, very sparkly. They're so beautiful, and I love the shifts in the multichromes. And now we can look at some of the looks. So as I said, I created 7 looks with this. For the first look, I'm using my Beauty Bay eyeshadow base. I will link everything that I'm using down below. For the first look, I'm using the Bean palette. The first look that I used is the shade Crypt, to kind of start up with something light and see how pigmented this is gonna be, because if I try a palette for the first time, I don't want to try with the deepest shade because I never know if it's gonna be easy to blend. So I started with the lighter shades. Later in the video you will see me using also deeper shades to start with. I just wanted to test it. So I used that mostly in the first like third of my eye. I really love the shade Crypt. It's such a fun, like kind of pukey mustardy color. I like these really like grungy colors. For me, it's really fun. And then I used the shade Wicked to deepen the outer corner with. It is such a beautiful, like deep mossy green shade. Then I took the shade, it's a Showtime, and I kind of soften up the edges in my outer corner to just kind of have a nicer blend. And I just really wanted to have a very green crease. Then I took my NYX Glitter Primer and put it all over my lids. And I used the shade Black Flame to put it all over my eyelid. It's kind of this like deep purple that goes to like rusty orangey red to really vibrant green. It's a beautiful shade. And I put that all over my lid. And then I put the shade Ghoulish, which is this like inner corner highlight. And I just finished the look with my Thrill Seeker mascara and with some eyeliner. This one is kind of a random eyeliner, so I don't even know if you can get it. And you could see the finished look. I tried to show you the reflection in the mirror to see the shift with the eyeshadows. Then for the second look, I started with the shade Losers Club, which is kind of this like orangey terracotta brown. I used it in my crease, then I deepened it up with the shade Ghastly, which is kind of this like grayish bluish shade. So I put that in my outer corner, and then I used the shade It's Showtime to kind of soften up the edges all over the lid, especially in the first third of my eye. Then I used the shade Afterlife all over my lid. It is very nice, like rusty orangey red shade. It's very, very pretty. And I used the shade Ghoulish again in my inner corner highlight. I put on some gel liner from L'Oreal. Used the same base, also the NYX Glitter Primer. I switched up my mascara and I used the L'Oreal Air Volume mascara. And I used a gel liner from Oden's Eye in my waterline. And this is the shade 012. So that's it for the second look. For the third look, I used the Moonfall palette. I started with the shade Sentinel all over my crease. It's a very nice kind of like cool toned greenish blue shade that goes kind of tealy. Then I used the shade Rebirth, which is a very deep kind of bluish shade. It's very similar to the shade Ghastly actually, from the Betty Bean palette. This shade I used to kind of really deepen up the outer part of my eye. And I also used the shade Moonmoss in the first third of my eye. I really like to have lighter color there, and also I really love how grungy this shade is. And I also used it because I wanted to use the green shimmer called Artifact. And I really love this shimmer. This is such a sparkly, beautiful shimmer. It's such a beautiful green. If you love green shadows, this is like a central green shadow. And it was so easy to use. I used the glitter primer again as well. And I also used the shade Nightsong to kind of have darker part of my eye. So I used the shade Nightsong. I also like to, since my crease is like blue and green, I wanted to have my lid also green and blue to match. I used the shade Ghoulish again in my inner corner from the Betty Jean palette. And I put on some gel liner. It's the same gel liner as before. I used the Thrill Seeker mascara again. And I used the Oden's Eye waterline pencil in the shade 005. I just thought that would really pull the whole look together. I love how deep and dark this look is. It's such a fun look, and I felt so good wearing it. It was just really nice look to use, and I love the Moonfall palette. It's so pretty, it's so beautiful, it's so easy to use. I love these colors. Then you can kind of do whatever you want, and you don't have to necessarily do monochromatic look with this. The next look, I wanted to try again my like winged liner shape, this kind of shape that kind of imitates wing liner. I just really have been loving it. And I started with the shade Wicked from the Betty Jean palette to kind of stencil out the liner, the wing liner. Then I used the shade Crypt in my inner third, again to stencil out the shape, and I deepen it up with the shade Loser's Club. When I do this shape of eye look, I like to first kind of map it out with the matte shades, and then I like to add the shimmers. For the shimmers, I use the shade Woodborough. It's a very nice orange shimmer. Absolutely love it. It's so cute. I think this look actually is very nice for summer and spring if you like this type of colors, or you can look like a very sexy pumpkin in the autumn. I added the shade Ghoulish in my inner corner. You can see that today it looks a little bit more yellow because it's around the oranges and kind of the lighter colors. I use my yellow eye pencil. This is from Khol. Then I use the Thrill Seeker mascara, and that's it for this look. It's really fun and cute look. I really like it. I think it's great for summer and spring, and it wasn't actually hard to do. What I noticed though is that the shade Woodsboro kind of started to separate on me throughout the day. It probably lasted like 6 or 7 hours, and then it started kind of move around a little bit. I have very oily eyelids, and I also have hooded eyelids, so that might be the reason, but I just wanted to let you know. Then for the next look, I used the shade It's Showtime from the Betty Jeans palette, again to just have something light. Then I used the shade Moonmoss from the Moonfall palette. I wanted to do a full green look, so I kind of had to. And these two shades look so cute together. They're really nice, and I really like how that looks. And then I also deepen it up with the shade Wicked to have like a full-on green moment. These are really perfect for each other, so I think if you have these two palettes, definitely try to do all green look. I might be biased because I love green and green looks, but that's not the point. They're very pretty together, and as you can see, I'm also wearing a green sweater, so I needed to match. Then again, I used the NYX Glitter Primer. I used that with all the in all the looks. Then I went in with the shade Artifact from the Moonfall palette. It's the shimmery green. I love this shade, though I feel like the day that I was wearing it, I don't know if there was something wrong with my eyelids, if I was just more oily that day, or what was the reason, but I noticed that the shade Artifact did crease on me that day, so that was kind of sad. But I think it was after like 8 hours, so it's not that bad actually. Then again, I used the shade Ghoulish in my inner corner. I topped it off with my Thrill Seeker mascara, and I used the waterline pencil from Trended Up, and that's it. Now we can go for our sixth look. This time I also used the winged liner technique, and I went in with the shade Rebirth to kind of map out the wing. Then I used the shade Folklore in the second half of my lid, and then in the first half of my lid I used the shade Primordial to kind of map out the shape again. Then I used the shade Black Flame from the Hallo Bean palette, and I used that all over my lid. I think this is really nice shade, and also I like that it has the multi-chrome aspect of it, so if you top it on these purpley shades, it's gonna be more purple. Then I used the shade Soulstone from the Moonfall palette in my in the first third of my eyelid, and then I also used the shade Devotion in my inner corner. It's such a beautiful lavendery shade. It looks absolutely stunning. Here you can see the finished look. I also used the Air Volume mascara again from L'Oreal. I used this random eyeliner pencil, and yeah, that's it. I hope you like this look. I'm also trying to show you how it looks in the mirror when you kind of move around, so you can see kind of the greeny and also like a little bit of that reddy color in the black flame, in the shade Black Flame. Then for the last look, I started with the Moonfall palette. I used the shade Sentinel, kind of in my crease. Then I used the shade Ghastly from Betty Bean palette to deepen it up in the outer corner of my eyelid. Then I went in with the shade Folklore to again just deepen it up a little bit and kind of pull a little bit of that purple in this look, and I also used it on my lower lash line. Then I on my lid I used two shimmers. I used the Devotion and the Night Song from the Moonfall palette. I used the Night Song in the outer half of my lid, and then the Devotion in the first half of my lid. By the way, I love the shade Night Song. It's such a sparkly blue. It's beautiful, and in combination with the shade Devotion, it's gorgeous. So that's all that I used. And then I also just went in with my eye pencil from Essence. It's in the Tutu Turquoise, and I again used the Thrill Seeker mascara. And I also used the shade Star Sign from Terra Moon's cosmetic. This is a single shadow. I used it in my inner corner and slightly on my lower lash line. I think it's beautiful, just really bright blue shade. I love this look. I don't wear blue eyeshadows as often, but this look is amazing and I love it. And yeah, that's all the 7 looks. I hope you like them. Let me know if you like these palettes, if you've tried them, or let me know if you would want to try them based on this video. I really love working with them and I can't wait to wear them again. I will definitely film more looks for my Get Ready With Me's on my Instagram, on TikTok, and here in the short format. Throughout the year, you definitely will see a lot more looks with these. So definitely subscribe here or on Instagram and my other socials to see those daily Get Ready With Me's. I try to post every single day so you can see all the palettes that I have and how I use them. That's it from me. Hope you have a great day. Hope you're enjoying the lovely May weather. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!